Hi my friends, how are you? I hope everybody is fine. My name is Daniel Villarino. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I would like to apologize because I have been absent from the channel for a while. I had a big surgery and I spent 17 days in the hospital. So I've been at home for the last 2 weeks. It's a long and slow process of recovery. I cannot make any efforts, and I just beginning to sit in front of the computer to do some editing of the material that I had already pretty advanced for this 4th video in the series of the Wheelbarrow for Jacqueline and Ariel. This is the 4th and final episode, and it's going to be a little bit long. It has a little bit of everything. I have the separation of the segments that have the joints, the paper joints. I have use of the sanding disc. I have staining of the wood, some work out of the lathe, the use of the faceplate, the use of threaded glue block, the use of a jam chuck, also the use of the coal jaws in the regular chuck. I have the use of a jig for perforation, some spindle turning, and then the assembling of all the pieces for the wheelbarrow. So there is a bit of everything. I would like to mention that I'm going to be putting up videos a little with more space between one and the other because of the issues I need to take care of for my recovery. But whenever I can, I will try to do it. So all that I mentioned before is the work for the day. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to work. I check which joints had a piece of paper. I place them on the edge and I will try to snap the joints open with a quick blow. This worked better than expected. The arrows showed that the thickness of the paper ended up divided evenly between the two faces of the joint. One of the halves already separated in quarters. Now I do the same to the other half. It is really amazing how the paper joint is strong enough to allow the turning, but can be broken easily with a quick snap. With the sandpaper attached to a very flat board and keeping always a good contact between the joint face and the sandpaper, I eliminate the paper until I reach the wood. I just sand the minimum necessary to reach the wood, no more than that. I place 2 spokes in the central hub and I get a little surprise when I try to fit them in the quarter ring. Looking closer to the situation, I realize what the problem is. It will be easier to see it in a diagram. Here you can appreciate a section of the wheel rim where the perforations that allocate the spokes are shown. And here you can see how these spokes should be placed. You can see that the distance shown by the yellow arrow is greater than the shown by the black arrow. The difference is about half an inch, approximately 12 millimeters. Placing the spokes in the position to enter the perforations, well, we just saw that they don't fit. A solution would have been to place paper joints every 2 segments instead of 4. Another solution, and the one that I will use in this case, is to sand away part of the wood cylinder of the spoke, so that it will allow its penetration in the perforation as shown in the diagram. It is not the best solution if the wheel were to be used in a continuous way, because it weakens the structural integrity of the rim support, but being wheels for a decorative wheelbarrow, well, it is the easier and faster solution, since otherwise I would have to redo the segmented rims from scratch. I mount the sanding disc on the lathe and I sand away bit by bit until I get 2 spokes to fit in 1 quadrant. Now I can fit 2 spokes in 1 quadrant at the same time. I repeat the procedure for all the spokes for the 2 wheels, and I make a dry fit to see how all fits together. The finish for all the pieces will be the same. First, I apply a wood conditioner that soaks the wood before the application of the stain. I let it work for several minutes and then I remove the excess. Then I apply the wood stain. In this case, the color is English chestnut. The stain is applied so that the wood will be completely soaked in it, and we let it act for about 15 minutes or more if we want an even deeper color, but avoiding it from drying completely. Once the required time went by, we remove the excess with a clean cloth. The last step is to apply several coats of spar polyurethane. This is a compound that gives a satin finish and it is used in wooden boats and objects exposed to the weather. You apply a coat, let it dry, sand lightly, another coat, and so on. In the case of the wheels, I apply 3 coats to the spokes and the central hubs and 5 coats to the external rims and the reinforcements. Ariel brought me the supports that connect the wheelbarrow box to the handle. I had to make the mortises where I will fit the handle tenons. I also make the perforations in the wood pieces that will support the axis. I attach both pieces together with turner's tape, and I remove the excess close to the circular shape that I want to give to the end. Then, with a sanding disc, I will sand away the wood until I reach the desired shape. I measure to cut the piece that will connect both supports. From a plywood board of 48 by 24 inches, I am going to trace 4 circumferences of 13 inches in diameter, and I am going to cut them with the jigsaw. I attach a faceplate to one of the circles and I mount it on the lathe. I trace a circumference of 12 inches in diameter, and with the gouge I eliminate the excess material. mark now a circumference of 11 inches in diameter, and I use the parting tool to make a cut approximating from the inside to that measure. I make the cut up to little more than half the way the board thickness. I do the same from the other side. I will lower the music volume so that you can hear how the sound changes when the cut is about to be completed. And then I stop and finish it with a knife. I will repeat the process for the other 3 rings. To facilitate the hollowing, I will use Forstner bits of increasing diameter until I use the one that gets closer to the size that I need. And then, from that point, I will turn the inside to reach the internal diameter I need for these central hub reinforcements. From this piece I will obtain a big reinforcement and a small one. Later I will repeat the process to get the reinforcement for the other hub. Using a sacrificial block mounted on the faceplate, I will make a jump chuck to fit with pressure the reinforcements and then even the interiors and sand them. I glue the reinforcements in their places according to the design. Before gluing the wheels, definitely I need to work with the segments joined in a provisional way for a while. And to avoid damaging the finish when I use the hose clamps, I will put under them paper towels folded multiple times. I place in the chuck the cold jaws to be able to hold the plywood reinforcements. With a square carbide cutter I will remove material from the inside, and when I get close to the measure I will work with an 80 grit sandpaper, and I will try and sand until I get a perfect fit. This process I will repeat for each of the reinforcement rings, being careful that each ring will have to fit in a specific recess. Because of the tight fit, the rings are now enough to keep the quarters together until I glue them, so I remove the hose clamps. As we will see with the test I will perform with the ruler, I will have to reduce a bit the diameter of some of the reinforcements, and I will do that by sanding. will use this jig that I made for the video of the sand class to make the perforations through which I will pass the wooden pins that will keep the wheels from getting out of the axis. I mount between centers a small granadillo blank that will be enough to make both wooden pins. I need to cut a slot at the end of each pin so that later I can put there a wedge that will expand the pin and produce the closure in the hole of the axis. For this, I am making a small jig that will allow me to fix the pin while I cut the slot with the saw. I assembled the components of the wheelbarrow handle. I assembled the components for the legs. I will place at the bottom some rubber discs so that the wood will not be directly touching the floor. To start the wheel assembly, I remove one of the reinforcement rings. I will glue the spokes, 2 per quadrant, keeping the order in which they are now placed. Finally, I glue the reinforcement rings and I use clamps to apply pressure, leaving the glue to dry for a whole day. I mount the wheels on the axis and I check that they rotate freely. Then I will give them several more coats of spar urethane. And here you can see several pictures of the wheels and the other wheelbarrow components before sending them to Ariel so that he can assemble them with the box that he has prepared. Okay, my friends, I finished doing all this stuff and all the assembling, and I already sent everything to Ariel so that he could assemble the wheelbarrow, and I will put some pictures of the complete wheelbarrow at the end of the video, together with some pictures from the subscribers of the channel. One thing that I wanted to mention is that this technique of putting paper between the joints of segmented work work pretty well, but still is something that you have to be very careful. After all, it's just paper, and you could see how easily it can be separated with a quick blow, like I did. I just snapping them. So the same situation may happen with a catch. It can break the joints. So you have to be careful on wearing all the adequate protection, taking light cuts, and not turning at very high speeds. Okay. And if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. So I'm going to put now some pictures of the wheelbarrow and also from the subscribers. Jose Luis from Teruel, Spain, sent me this picture of an eccentric birch bowl. Very good job, Jose Luis. And Carlos from El Salvador sent me several pictures, including one of a vase made in laurel with some scorch marks. Excellent job, Carlos. And here you can see some pictures of the wheelbarrow completely assembled. Okay, I hope you enjoyed these pictures. I also hope you enjoy the video and the complete series. If that's the case, don't forget to mark the like button below, make comments, and if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do so. And it will be until the next one. Cheers!